So before we introduce this year's class of inductees, we wanted to pay our brief respects to 2011 Hall of Fame inductee who passed away earlier this year, C. Alan Watts. Mr. Watts was a double-hatter, an augural member of our law review, graduated first in his class, and was delighted to present a diploma to his son, Mark, in 1998. Thank you, and I've gotten a chance to meet Mr. Watts a number of times. What a fabulous member of our class, our Hall of Fame class in 2011. As Dean of the Law School, I am especially proud of tonight's inductees who exemplify the very best in our profession, the very best in leadership, the very best in service to both the College of Law as well as Stetson University. As we introduce each of our inductees, we'll present a short video and then invite them to the podium for some remarks. As you will see in this video, Fred Dudley traveled many miles to attend the Stetson University College of Law. He represented the people of the state of Florida as a legislator and leader in the legal profession, and has always been a part of the Stetson family.
Frederick Dudley is a Florida Bar board-certified construction lawyer with almost 5 decades of experience in construction and real estate law. This acclaimed lawyer served 16 years in the Florida legislature, retiring from the Florida Senate in 1998, where he served as chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, chair of the Appropriations Subcommittee on Education, and vice chair of the Appropriations Committee. As a legislator, Mr. Dudley chaired the group that rewrote Florida's construction lien laws and successfully sponsored every statutory change from 1990 to 1998. As a legislative advocate since 2000, he has continued to draft most of the laws governing contracting activities in Florida. A native of Fort Myers, his parents, Bert and Kathleen, ran a plumbing business. While still in high school, Fred's father died, and the young man helped his mother run the family business. Kathleen Dudley became Florida's first licensed woman plumber. At his mother's urging, Fred attended the brand new University of South Florida in Tampa, where he studied accounting and worked as an auditor for Sears Roebuck. He traveled home on weekends to help his mother run the plumbing business. In 1965, then ABA guidelines allowed Fred and others with stellar grades and 90 undergraduate credit hours to enroll directly into law school. Still living in Tampa, he enrolled at Stetson. Fred and 3 classmates piled into a small Volkswagen Bug for the daily hour-and-a-half commute each way from Tampa to the Gulfport campus. This was prior to construction of Florida's interstate. The time was well spent as a traveling study group. One of those in the car was classmate and fellow Florida legislator John Grant, who said, "Fred was always the scholar in the group. He is a great academic lawyer, a trailblazer, one of the lawyers that I admire the most." During Fred's final year at Stetson, he moved close to the Gulfport campus and served on the Public Defender Clinic under Professor and fellow Hall of Fame member Paul Barnard. He was a member of Phi Alpha Delta. After graduation, he moved back to Florida's East Coast and joined a law firm. He continued to practice law while serving with distinction in the Florida legislature. Fred Dudley has received numerous awards for his countless contributions to his community, his profession, and to Stetson University College of Law. He served on the Stetson Board of Overseers for 6 years and is the winner of Stetson's Ben C. Willard Award for Humanitarian Achievements of Distinction. Frederick R. Dudley is now a member of the Stetson University College of Law Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2015 inductee to the Stetson University Hall of Fame, Fred Dudley.
want me to? No. I can get followed.
Dean, I just want you to know I paid my taxes, okay? This is a singular honor that I didn't expect. In fact, when the dean called me with Sammy on the phone a couple of months ago, I thought, boy, I'm under audit or something. I didn't know, Sammy, I thought I might have to hire you to represent me. But I did a little research. By the way, most of these pictures I haven't seen in years. Some of them go back a few years too. But I did a little research on the Stetson College of Law Hall of Fame. And I discovered a couple of things that frankly were troubling to me. One, it said to qualify, you had to be at the pinnacle of success. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I still practice law, and every day is climbing a pinnacle. In fact, having been board certified in construction law in the first class of '05, today I filled out my application to take another 6-hour bar exam to try to get certified in administrative law. And when I came here in '65, the legislature had just passed Chapter 120, the APA, about 2 years before. And we knew very, very little about it. It was based on the federal APA, but we studied hard. And today, that's my practice, Josh, as you know, getting people licensed. The other thing that troubled me about the qualifications was it said living or dead, and I wasn't sure which category I fell into. But I wanted to share something with you and with the students here tonight, because the students are what it's all about, whether you're staff or faculty or practicing attorneys. These students are the ones we depend upon for the future of our profession. And I read this by a fellow named Ron Stein, who heads a marketing company. Now, we didn't teach marketing in law school in 1965, and I don't think you teach it today. We probably should. Here's what he said. He said, start by realizing people are not interested in what you do. Wow. Wow. He said, they're interested in knowing if they need to know you and if you can help them. So when I joined the Ackerman Law Firm a few years ago, we had our first annual meeting, and they introduced all the new partners, and they said, Fred Dudley, what do you do? And at the time, most of my practice was lobbying the Florida legislature. And I said, I do magic. So I would urge you as law students, be thinking about telling people not just what you do, but why they need you. What's special about you? That's the best lesson I can share with you. Thanks again, and thanks for my son Chris, who's here tonight. He was about 3 years after my graduation from here, but I'm delighted he was able to make it. My brother Bill and his wife Kathleen, Bill Fink, who's a trial advocate, defense lawyer, not criminal defense, civil defense lawyer, and a graduate of Stetson, and his daughter, who's in her second year, and Kevin, her fiance. Thanks to all of you, and I want to leave one last thought. Some people have trouble spelling the dean's name. And I've thought long and hard about this, and I wanted to share with you a simple lesson in how to spell the dean's name. You ready? C-H-R-I-S.
Thank you, and my children are still working on the spelling of their last name also. So Fred, thank you so much, and welcome to the Hall of Fame. And you did mention something that is really very important, and that is that law school is about the students, and we have a number of students that are here tonight. So can I ask them to please stand up so that we can acknowledge all of you? Our second inductee tonight is Fred Schaub, and he's played a key role in those trial competition victories that I talked about a little bit earlier tonight, coaching Stetson to its first national title in 1989. He remains a valued member of our Stetson community as an adjunct member of our faculty and continuing to inspire our students for over 25 years. Please take a look.
Fred Schaub knew in grade school that he wanted to be a lawyer. His father, Frank, was a 1949 Stetson law graduate who had a distinguished career as a Manatee County trial attorney, state attorney, and circuit court judge presiding over 10 counties. Frank Schaub's career required significant travel, and he frequently brought his enthusiastic son with him to observe high-profile court cases. Fred knew he wanted to be a lawyer. Specifically, he wanted to be a prosecutor. After graduating from Florida State University, Fred knew his parents' policy. They were not going to pay for graduate school. The next 3 years, he saved the necessary funds to pay for his legal education by working for Shell Oil Company, negotiating oil and gas leases. He chuckles that it took many years to catch up with his oil company salary. While deciding which law school to attend, the subtropical climate of West Florida, his father's legacy, and proximity to family fueled his drive to attend Stetson Law. At Stetson, Fred remained convinced he wanted to be a trial lawyer. He was a member of the trial team under legendary professor and Hall of Fame member Bill Eliezer. Mr. Schaub characterizes that as his best experience in law school. He also participated in Stetson's prosecution clinic under another Hall of Fame member, State Attorney James Russell. Fred graduated in December 1984. A short time later, he was working for Russell in the State Attorney's office. Fred Schaub is the Felony Division Director at the State Attorney's Office in Florida's 6th Judicial Circuit, working there since 1985 with fellow Hall of Fame inductee Bernie McCabe. Fred Schaub has prosecuted a wide range of criminal cases, ranging from misdemeanors to murder cases, complex racketeering cases, and prosecution of corrupt public officials. Florida governors have appointed him as a special assistant state attorney to handle grand juries and trials throughout the state of Florida. He was also appointed a special assistant United States attorney. Mr. Schaub is board certified in criminal trial law. He was selected by the Florida Supreme Court to the Florida Standard Jury Instructions Committee. He has served on the Executive Council of the Criminal Law Section of the Florida Bar and has served as a member of the Criminal Procedure Rules Committee. Throughout the years, Fred has traveled the country, lecturing and teaching lawyers in the area of trial advocacy. Fred Schaub has never really left Stetson. Not long after graduating, Professor Eliezer went on an academic sabbatical, and Stetson contacted Fred. Would he please take over the trial team programs and serve as the prosecution clinic coordinator? He immediately agreed and has continuously served as an adjunct since that time. Twice, he was a national finalist as the Roscoe Pound Outstanding Law Adjunct Professor. He is a winner of Stetson's Paul M. May Meritorious Service Award. Although the early years proved successful for Stetson's trial teams, the year 1989 marked a milestone in Stetson's trial competition program and the beginning of the most successful trial competition program of any law school in the nation. That year, coached by Fred Schaub, the Stetson team won its first national title in Houston, Texas. His coaching accomplishments include 14 national-level championships. His teams never lost a state bar trial competition. His coaching skills helped Stetson win all 5 national trial competitions in one academic year. In 1995, U.S. News and World Report named Stetson's trial advocacy program #1 in the country. His commitment to Stetson is wide-reaching. In 1998, he married his wife Cheryl on Stetson's campus. They have 2 children, Mackenzie and Luke. For his unwavering commitment and contributions, Fred Schaub is now a member of the Stetson University College of Law Hall of Fame.
2015 inductee, Fred Schaub.
Well, I do this for a living. I get up in front of juries and speak all the time, and I'm never nervous, but I'm pretty nervous tonight. I am humbled, and I am honored to receive this recognition. I owe Stetson a great deal of gratitude for giving me the opportunity to participate in this fine law school. I owe Professor Eliezer a lot because he decided he needed another degree on his wall, and he wanted his thirst for academics and his thirst for education 30 years ago. He decided to go get his LLM at Emory. And at that time, I did get that call from Stetson asking me if I would help out with the prosecution clinic program and take over the trial advocacy trial team competitions. And I said I would be honored to do so. 30 years later, we have for a number of years been recognized by the U.S. News and World Report as the most outstanding trial advocacy program in the country. That's just an incredible thing when you think about it. Stetson in St. Petersburg, Florida, and we are the best at trial advocacy in the whole country. That includes the Harvards, the Floridas, the Florida States. And tonight, no one person is responsible for that. But tonight's a nice night to recognize all of us who are responsible for that. Professor Eliezer, Charlie Rose, Judge Demers, Shireen, Charlie Samarcos. Charlie was the first advocate on our national title championship team, and that tradition continued. So it's a night for all of us to pat ourselves on the back and enjoy the recognition, because it's all of us that has done this. Years ago, I got contacted by law schools. They wanted to know what the secret to our success was. What was the formula? How did we develop our trial advocacy programs and our success? University of Florida at that time decided they wanted to emulate our program, and they threw money at the issue. They had a former Florida bar president in charge of the program, and they had a big-time personal injury lawyer with deep pockets in charge of the program. And they threw money at the issue. For 2 or 3 years they did that. And they couldn't beat Stetson. And nobody ever asked, they never wanted to listen to what really did it. And what it was just a lot of hard work and a great bunch of students. I mean, just a tremendous, hard-working bunch of students who would be out here every night till, I'm telling you, 1 o'clock at night. We'd be out here working and trying to develop our trial advocacy skills. And it's those students, coupled with the administration. He's not here tonight, but Bruce Jacobs was the dean at that time. And I remember one time I walked out in the parking lot, and Dean Jacobs was there, and he congratulated me for the work. And he said, "Anything I can do for you?" And I said, Dean, we try cases sometimes like at the Florida bar in hotel rooms. And these big courtrooms are great, but it'd be nice if we had a small setting. That next day, he had a construction crew in Courtroom H, the old Courtroom H, and he built some walls and made a small courtroom setting so that we could get comfortable in that type of an environment. That's the dedication from the top to the bottom that this law school has shown. And Chris shows that today at Stetson. So I want to thank Stetson for all the efforts and all the energies and the alumni that come back. Shireen Vesley's here tonight, and she is as much responsible for all our success as anybody in this room. And it's just that all the alumni, Keith Carter, my best friend in law school, came out tonight. Thank you, Keith. And I wanted on that thing, Keith, that we were intramural champions in football. But Frank didn't put it, but Frank, you did a great job on making me to be something, I guess. But I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank Stetson. It's quite an honor. And I want to especially thank my wife, Cheryl. I come home late at night some nights, and she understands that, and she accepts that, and she has always been allowing me to participate here at this law school. I do have a day job, believe it or not. Right, Bernie? I think so. But I want to thank Cheryl for always being so supportive. And there's two people that aren't here tonight that I really want to recognize. And one, Charles is kind of here sitting at my table, but he represents all the students that have come through the doors here. But Karen Williams was a dear friend. She was an advocate here at this school. She was a professor here at this school. And she took over the torch carrying on the tradition of the trial programs, and she died much too young. And another person that I want to recognize is Jerry Parker. Judge Parker was a good friend. And he wasn't a Stetson graduate. He was from Oklahoma, I think. But he loved this law school, and he loved its trial advocacy program. And if you know Jerry Parker, he's a hard man, and he just loved the students here, and he loved the trial advocacy program. And I know that they're looking down tonight, and they're quite happy. So again, Dean, thank you for this honor. It's a privilege, and thank you, Stetson.
Congratulations, Fred. Congratulations, Fred. We are delighted with our 2015 class. So welcome to our Hall of Fame. Before we conclude tonight, there are lots of people that I'd like to thank for putting on such a wonderful event for us tonight. It starts with our really fantastic development and alumni relations department. So I'd like to acknowledge them: Kevin Hughes, Debbie Swink, Patricia Toops, Sean Booth, Mike Casey, and Tamika Jackson. So congratulations on a really great event. And also to welcome Jeff Ulmer, who is the Vice President for Development on our DeLand campus. Thanks to our communication staff for their really great work on the Hall of Fame, Frank Clem and Stan Arthur, who put together the videos. Our Office of Media Services, Dan Payne, who's in the back, and Damon Johnson, who's in the back of the hall. Thank you so much for your great work on the Hall of Fame. And thanks again for our student ambassadors as they welcomed everybody as they came in tonight. Thank you. So thank you to all of you for joining us for yet another Hall of Fame. We're delighted with our class of inductees, Fred Schaub and Fred Dudley. We're delighted that you're part of our Stetson community, and we'd ask the inductees to remain afterwards for some pictures. But thank you all so much for being part of Stetson, being part of our community, and we look forward to seeing you again next year. Thank you and have a great night.